my lovelies, guys, girls and other beings of infinite deliciousness. I am in the garden. It's very hot, but it's not as hot as it has been. It's a bit more comfortable, but I have bags under my eyes because I have not been sleeping well because it's been so hot and disgusting, and I don't do summer at all. I hate it. I just hate it with a passion. It's one of the reasons I don't wear makeup. So, excuse me, that was the cat. I'm watching the cat. He's nearly knocked the phone off. Yes, I am recording on a phone. If I get more subscribers, I might be able to afford to get a proper camera. There you go. So there you go. Now then, I've just been watching a really excellent video by Andy the Fellows. Check him out. He's awesome. He's very, very thoughtful individual. Hair goals as well. I mean, he bleaches his hair, and I don't know how matches make it look so silky when mine looks like a haystack. But there it is. And I've got the place to myself, so I thought I'd have a little chat with you about Pride Month. Now, this time last year, when people were all, celebrating and meeting up and out in the streets in a good way, and just generally being colourful and happy and drunk and partying and shit like that, and I thought, right, next year I am definitely going, because I do identify as queer, and it's something I've not exactly been struggling with, but it's something I find it difficult to relate to other people around me, because I've basically got my husband, because yes, I am married to a man, and I'll go into that in a minute. But yeah, I've got very sort of conservative, traditional people around me, and because and it's hard. So I thought, right, I'm going to really throw myself into it, and then the pandemic came along, of course. Now everyone suffered a lot because of this, and my other half suffered. He's having a lot of stress because he's having to work from home, and they keep dicking him about, telling him when can he go back on site, when he can't go back on site, and how many hours he's going to have, or how many hours isn't going to have, and what he's going to get paid. And oh, that's the neighbours starting up their motorbike. And I've not had any work at all for ages, and I tried to start a YouTube channel for my employer. Hello, Dom. There, look, Dom is my employer. He's my cat. You can see his little tail. Look at him. Look. You can excuse his tail. No, stop it. Yeah, I know. I love you too. Can you piss off? Can you go and find a slow worm to eat or something? Go on. Cats. Yeah, so I've been working from home, and the cats have been knocking my stuff over. When I say working from home, I don't mean working from home and getting paid an hourly wage. I mean trying to make things and having the other half saying, I can't possibly take all this seriously, and generally disregarding everything I make, which is nice. Thank you very much. Anyway, so yeah, I just watched a video by Andy Fellows, and it just made me think, well, actually, I think I'm going to sort of put my two pennyworth in about this, because it's not something I tend to get to talk about and share very often with people. And when I was growing up, there wasn't Twitter, there wasn't Tumblr, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't such a kind of like an acceptance of various different gender presentations, or gender identities, or sexualities, or anything like that. So I might have missed out on things, and so it's been a sort of a long journey for me. But in other ways it hasn't, because when I was a kid growing up, I never conformed to what it is to be girly, and then I was always jealous of the girls that got all the attention and could get away with things, and pretty girls getting away with things. Well, I didn't, so I was really struggling, because I was thinking, I don't, and I still do now, and I'm going to make a video on blonde femme fatales who get away with things, and authenticity and things like that. But that's, I don't know how to approach that, because it's kind of like personal and subjective, but it's kind of objective at the same time. So I'm still trying to work out how to do that. So that's for another day. But yeah, I wanted to approach. I really wanted to get involved in the Pride things this year, and because it's knocked me for six, this whole pandemic thing, because I do get the opportunity to sort of meet with people on the internet, but I still have, I'm probably like the weirdest geek you'll ever see, because I can't even socialise on the internet. I'm rubbish at everything. So yeah, it's nice when I can see things that kind of validate my existence, because like I am 50 and I can't see very many people of my generation that are being accepted and just yeah, I just if I was 18 now, I would probably be going out with a girl. That's all I'm saying. Because I looked back on my school days, and there was a girl that I really fancied, actually, and she was quite tall and sort of masculine, really, and when we did this leaving school thing, and we used to kind of write in each other's notebooks and things, and she left me a really touching message, and I was thinking, but for being in the past, things could have turned out really differently. No, we could have been a couple, because I look at what she'd written now, and it's taken on a whole new meaning, really. And I'm just wondering, like, if she's out there now, what's she doing? I don't want to go creepy stalker on her, but it'd be interesting, wouldn't it, to just think, well, did she discover herself? Or has she got married to a man and kind of like settled into that acceptable thing? Interesting. So yeah, things could have turned out a lot different for me, and they could have turned out probably a lot different for everyone else who's of my generation, because it just, even though it was more accepted in the 80s than it was before, it still isn't accepted as it is now. So it's really tricky, and I like there's this big gap, I think, about people who are thinking about their past and kind of finally sort of trying to identify themselves as what they feel like was authentic the whole time, but they were just trying to suppress. I'd like anyone who's feeling like that, just reach out to me, and leave a comment down below. I might start a Discord or something. You never know, because there's this whole sort of. You can't really say that you're out and proud, because even if you did, people would kind of laugh at you, and they're saying, yeah, okay, because you weren't always like that or whatever. And then you've got other people say, well, we always suspected, and and like my sister, she's kind of like, and I said, yeah, I'm going to sort of officially, I said to her, I think I'm bi, and I think I'm non-binary. And she said, yeah, of course you are. And not in a dismissive way, but because she grew up with me, and she knew that I was like her. We were like chalk and cheese, and she's like, one of the girls out of Sex and the City. She's all that, and then some, the girl with the good hair and all of that. And so, because I didn't know whether it was just that I was a geek, or whether I just didn't know how to look after myself, or whether it's because, well, I had undiagnosed ADHD and Asperger's, so I thought maybe it's that, maybe it's a neurodiversity thing. I really don't know what it is. But I'm sitting here now in a vest and a shorts and my legs aren't shaved, and my hair's short, and I haven't got any makeup on, and I feel brilliant. I feel great. I can't, this is me. This is how I am, and I've finally realised that, I don't have to be like other girls, and it doesn't matter. And I am who I am, and I would like to see more representation, please, of older queer people, if that's not too much to ask. And it would validate people who have gone decades wondering who the hell they are and just falling into societal norms because they weren't sure, and they just thought, well, there's obviously something wrong with me. If I get married, then everyone will think that I'm super successful at being married. Sorry, and that just flew into my nose. And yeah, there is this kind of pressure. It's like, I don't want to use that. It's not a derogatory thing, but there are still people out there who have beards. I think we know what that means. Who have partners to make themselves look more acceptable in the real world. But that's not to say I wasn't attracted to my other half when I met him. I was highly libidinous, we both were. But as we've got older and adulthood has sort of settled on us, and as old married couples do, you tend to get a bit less physical. But it's, if things had been different, would I have not jumped into bed with someone who was a different gender? I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm gay or heterosexual, because I have fancied girls in the past, like I said about this girl at school, this woman at school, and she may have thought that she was non-binary as well, because she had short hair and she had a flat chest. And honestly, I just love androgynous looking people. I've just got a thirst for them big time. I'm sorry. Annie Lennox in the 80s with her red hair and her suits, I was drooling. I was absolutely drooling. So things are different now, and yeah, they might be more complicated, and social media has done a really good job at pitting people against each other. I don't really want to see that, but what Andy Fellow said in his video, and I really suggest you check it out, is that if you could sit there and just look at someone in the face for a while, just have a chat with them, you'll find out that they're human beings, and what their gender and what their sexual preferences are really doesn't give it doesn't give a shit, really, in this day and age. It doesn't. And I'm really glad that there are people out there who are starting to realise that Kinsey was right, and despite all the problematic things that might have been in his research, there is a spectrum. It's the same as, like, there's an autistic spectrum, there's a sexuality spectrum. But that's why I don't like to think that people who are autistic are ill. I don't like, years ago they used to think homosexuality was a mental disease. There are just different ways of, your mind works in different ways, your desires work in different ways, and your bodies work in different ways. So, we're like bonobo monkeys, really. Some of us would just shag anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as you're careful, as long as you don't take too many risks and, get yourself into trouble, get used or use people, or just do unsafe things. As long as you take care of yourself and the people around you, it really doesn't matter. And I would just like to say that to all my fellow queer people out there, I would really love to come and meet you all one day, and we'll have them. As soon as this stupid coronavirus panicdemic thing is over, we're all going to have a massive great big fucking party, and you're all invited. If you want to subscribe down below, do. If I've lost some subscribers because of talking about gayness and things and pride and whatever, then fine, do you, there's There's a whole world out there. Go and find your echo chamber. I don't give a stuff. But if you've just clicked on, and welcome, hi, thank you. I'd like to think that I'm probably one of the more authentic YouTubers out there. I don't want to boast about that, because, you know, here I am talking to a fucking mobile phone, or resting on a garden seat in my garden, getting eaten by gnats, and showing off, and I bleach my hair. So yeah, make of that what you will. It may or may not be authentic. I may or may not be a narcissist, but you know, I haven't murdered anyone, and I haven't adopted any kids for clout. So, you know, I'd like to think that, at least out of all, as YouTubers go, I'd like to think I'm probably one of the less deviant ones. Thank you very much. And I've only just started this, and quite frankly, I can't see it making any money. It'd be great if it did, but because, you know, I'm on disability benefits, and I had to fight hard to get that, and I haven't really got a lot else going on. So if you are enjoying this, I am really, really pleased, because I like entertaining people. I like doing improv comedy, and none of this shit is scripted, and it's all just what I've, you know, I just open my mouth and just shit falls out. So if you find this kind of thing amusing, and great, lovely. If you find it entertaining, brilliant. If you find it informative, what's wrong with you? Go and read a book. Okay. So bye bye now, and take care. If you're having a hot, sweaty night, I feel for you. I'm going to go and I was going to do some more gardening now, but fuck it, I'm being bitten by gnats now, and I'm really sweating, disgusting. I'm going to go take a shower, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye now.